Hey y'all, this is Allison. I'm hanging out in my space to craft, and I wanted to do a heart page. I've been thinking about this page for a few days now. I wasn't sure which photos I was going to use, and then I decided that I would use just a couple of photos from my daughter's senior photo shoot. This page will go in her senior album. I pulled out some 6x6 papers from My Mind's Eye, Gingham Garden, I think it's called. So there's quite a few different patterns on here that will work. I had thought about using an artistry garden collection from 49 and Market, but to tell you the truth, I didn't want to cut into 4 or 5 pieces of that paper to get a heart out and then not have the papers, because they're so beautiful and you can really turn them into individual pages. So I just didn't want to ruin that many pieces of 12 by 12 paper. But I did select this one as the background. So I'm just laying out approximately what I think will work to have 9 hearts in a grid on there. I have a stitched heart die that is just over 3 inches, maybe almost 3.5 inches wide, and about the same tall. And I've gone off and cut those out of the different patterns. I wanted to get a few florals on there, some just a nice variety that would still coordinate with this peachy pink distressed background. So they are not as distressed, the My Mind's Eye papers, but I still think it coordinates. I'm going to cut these photos down a bit because I don't want to obscure the entire heart. So I'm just making these about 3 by 3, and then I can offset them. In different, so that parts of the heart behind them still show. This photo I'm going to cut down. It's her after her hair and makeup is completed. Now, I have not included any of the actual photos from her photo shoot here. I do have those digitally, and so I will make a few layouts using it, but we have a whole printed book of each of those photos, so it's not as critical that go into this senior book. So I just wanted to have a page about the process. I did decide to round these corners just to take a little bit of the bulk off and soften the edges of the photos. I'm also going to distress the edges of the hearts and ink them. Taking off this really cute border strip. Hopefully I'll find a way to use that somewhere. I really like it. So here I'm just going through the process. I'm not going to make you watch all of that. I've edited the video, or stopped the video while I did the rest of them. But I'm just using my distress tool, which is an old Creative Memories tool that I have. Maybe I do make you watch most of it. I didn't think so. All right, so that's done, and I inked them using, I think, Vintage Photo for the ink. And then I pulled out a whole bunch of ephemera from my ephemera binders, and some Tim Holtz roses and flowers to add to it. And then I also fussy cut a few flowers from the 6x6 paper pad as well. So I'm just lining up at about 3/4 of an inch top and bottom to lay out these so that there's a decent border around the grid. So I will say this style is similar to one that Paige Evans did, but she stitches a lot of times on her hearts like this. So I did not stitch all these hearts down, but I did use a stitched die and distress them to create a little bit of dimension on here. So that's, I'm going to go ahead and commit the photos down and then start to embellish. I chose not to outline map these photos. I don't think it needs it. They stand out well enough. And I have to admit, I'm thinking of this page as a masterpiece because I was just really, really pleased with it. It's a little more complex than some of the pages that I've been doing lately for this senior album because I'm trying to keep up, and I'm doing, you know, 1 or 2 photos, and I'm doing pretty straightforward, simple designs. But this is something that's slightly more complicated, lots of different patterns, but it's also really versatile to use for different themes and things like that. So I had this Vicky Bouton, I think it's from Print Shop, sticker sheet, and the word smile was on there. I thought that was perfect for a photo shoot. And the colors are just perfect with this. So I'm up to 4 different, including this Tim Holtz, 4 different designers and manufacturers on this page. So that's really fun and makes it unique. So I'm just trying to find homes for some of these flowers. They're a little bit glossy and realistic and not cartoonish. So, and some of the shapes I struggle with just a little bit. So I'm just trying to find homes for them, trying to make it really floral. I don't do florals as much as I would like to. And I had pulled out some wordy bits from my ephemera binders and this little camera. Always need a camera for a photo shoot. So just trying to find homes for everything. I do move things around quite a bit. And I will end up popping a few things up on Dimension, but not a ton. I mean, you really create a lot of depth with the scuffing and the different textures of materials that are on here. I loved this floral with the ribbon on it, but then I struggled to find the right location for it. I think that's where it ends up, down in that bottom right corner. And I am trying to put something in each heart. So it's not a triangle embellishment situation or a diagonal. Sorry about that, you guys. My phone was ringing and I had to run off to a physical therapy appointment. So I'm just continuing to do some auditioning and make some final decisions on some of these items. I've had that little rose gold key with the heart on it sitting in my ephemera binders. It's an extra that I made when I was cutting some hearts and didn't use it on a card or something. So it's been in there all by its lonesome, so I decided it would go well on this page. I had a little word phrase, and so I cut it into 3 bits because I didn't want just a long phrase, and I think that looks a lot better cut into 3. I'm just checking these sticker sheets for anything else that I want to use on here. Mostly I took wordy bits off of it. I decided not to add the like butterflies and stuff like that, though I very easily could have. So if you don't prefer florals, you could do butterflies or other things to make something like this your own style. And I was looking at some of the little, they have some little circles with hearts in them in gold, but the colors just weren't right for most of them. I definitely wanted something else at the top of that at the start of that title. So just trying some different things, trading some stuff out to try and make it work. So just switching things around. And making sure that I have, trying to do a couple of things in each area, not just single items. Maybe that's a flower and a wordy bit or something like that. And I'm also trying to still maintain the shapes of the hearts and not obliterate them completely. And this is almost done, except I think for some enamel dots and some sprinkles. And I think I decided not to do enamel dots, but to do some sort of rose gold / copper Nuvo drops. And then I'm going to thin that out and use it for sprinkles as well, the same stuff. So here goes that process. Oh, I do add a few. Oh, I know which enamel dots I added. I had some from Paige Evans, which had the same blue tone, and Chamel, which had a peachy pink tone. So just finishing and a pink tone from the Paige Evans. So they're very similar. They're sort of clear and a little sparkly almost, but I thought that was the right tone rather than solid enamel dots for this. So I'm going to pull, you can see I made a little stack of that Nuvo drops, covering my pictures so I don't splatter on them. And I really need to get a fan brush. I'm sure I have one in the house somewhere, but I think a fan brush would work better for this purpose. And this brush was way too tight to get the spray that I wanted. I think I was spraying my hands more than I was spraying the paper. But I did manage to get a little bit on there. But then I decided I really wanted some more solid Nuvo drops. Here I tried loosening it up a little bit to see if I could get some more drops on there. I need to really up my sprinkle game. And then I'm going to take the Nuvo drops, I think, and add a few dots here and there, just for a little higher impact. And that's it. Please give this video a thumbs up and come back for more content. I've got lots more pages in my lineup.